I'm Tim from CDK Stone and welcome to another episode of our Designer Collaboration Series where we take the opportunity to meet the people behind some incredible projects. And I'm very fortunate to be joined by another Tim from B.E Architecture, and we are here in what I consider one of the most incredible homes I've had the luxury of being inside here in Sydney on the harbour. So welcome Tim, and thanks for joining us today. Could you tell us a little bit about B.E Architecture and what you guys do?
Yeah, so we do bespoke custom architectural homes, and we've been doing that for over 25 years now. So we work on projects all across Australia from two offices. Our main location in Melbourne, and we've got an office in Byron Bay as well. That's where I manage our work, and we do projects out of there from Sydney all the way up to Noosa. So we work across all aspects of our projects, from very early design phase, initial meetings with clients, developing the design. We manage our own planning, all of our construction documentation, and then we're on site from the beginning right until the very end when houses are in this beautiful state, ready to hand over to their clients.
Yeah, and it is an absolutely incredible project. Could you talk us through this particular project and I guess how it came about, the scope of work, and maybe if there was any particular challenges?
There were plenty of challenges,
yeah.
Which is why we do our job. Architects are inherently problem solvers, and that's a particular focus of ours. It's a source of inspiration as well. The hardest project is to walk onto a flat blank site and come up with something amazing. The more challenges you have, the more responses there are, the more leads there are for you to develop something really special. So the obvious issue here is the slope of the land, and the fact that we've dug a 12.5 metre deep hole to put the building in. There's drainage issues, retention issues. The engineering alone is enormously complex. And then we've got our design languages and finishes that need to plug seamlessly into that. We can't have beams hanging out of walls. The rendered facade has very crisp, fine lines. We can't have them misplaced. All the little things really matter a lot to generate this outcome.
Yeah, and that's one thing I've noticed being in this property is the attention to detail and the finishes and the quality on the build, and that's obviously something that B.E Architecture pride themselves on. You mentioned before the project is over 6 levels. How did you and the clients decided what area of the house is going to go on what level, and I guess what view and aspect of the harbour each level will have?
Yeah, so this family's a bit different in that we've got the parents obviously, but the children are spread over quite a large age gap. So we've got children who are entering university and children who are in their early years of primary school. So zoning and privacy is really important for the family to live together harmoniously, let's say. So the first floor where you come in off the street, we have a formal entry that takes in the beautiful harbour views. We've got some beautiful Norfolk pines out the front here, and you capture glimpses of those. We've got a car stacker with double height parking, which is really important in Sydney. And then you come down to a kids level, which has it's the highest point of the building, so you're getting amazing views across to Manly, just on the other side of the bay here. And we come down to the third level, which is the master suite, fully dedicated to the parents. That incorporates a study, a fully Arabescato lined ensuite as well. And then we come down to this level: kitchen, dining, living. We've got a snug in the back of the building as well. And then more kids programming on the bottom floor. That's more of a fun level. There's a cinema, and that incorporates other plant, laundry, all of the boring stuff. But the important thing about 6 stories was that we could compress the building back into the hillside, which allowed us to open up a really vast terrace on the waterside, which is where everybody wants to be in Sydney. So we've got 2 beautiful barbecue areas, an infinity pool, and some lovely landscaping by Miles Baldwin.
Yeah, and we're on the level with the kitchen, and I guess now the kitchen is such an important part of the home for entertainment, for sharing meals, and it's got this absolutely beautiful Arabescato Vagli Marble from CDK Stone. How did you and the client come to select this particular stone? Was it the original choice of the client and yourself?
Yeah, so it wasn't actually the original choice. These clients were heavily involved in developing the material palette for this. So the materials that we documented actually aren't what we have built here. We did a full review. So any material selections we make are in response to our client. That's not to say that the client picks the stone and we put it in. The client has particular tastes that we try to understand, and we put before them things that might be appropriate. And that's got to be in the context of the joinery, the curtains, carpets, all the other finishes as well. We do quiet buildings, so it's really important that things balance together and work well.
Yeah. And how did you find the selection process with CDK stone? Was this something we had ready and available, or were you involved in the process where we do selections from Italy and we send those across to the client to see if they like them?
Yeah, so CDK were instrumental in supply of this. We're actually in the middle of COVID when we needed this stone, and we have vast amounts of it. The kitchen's fully lined in it, as you can see. The living room has a beautiful fireplace with these lovely big Arabescato panels. We have 2 outdoor barbecue areas with bench tops that are all in Arabescato, and of course the master suite, which is fully lined walls and ceiling. So, and with the client's taste and our standards, it all had to be consistent and match. So at that time, there actually wasn't enough Arabescato in the country to achieve a uniform look across the building. So CDK actually sourced a block dedicated for this project out of Italy, I believe. And due to COVID, we couldn't get out there to see the stones. So you guys were very generous with your time, and you had the client out to the showroom. She had a terrific experience. All the cut stone slabs were hung up for her to view, and that allowed us to do a process of cutting out the ones that weren't quite right, maybe had a bit too much feature, maybe were a bit too plain, and we've got a beautiful set of curated stones.
Yeah, and so going back to that, I guess, ethos of B.E Architecture with detail, being able to have every single slab, identify where you want the stone, how it's going to look, and was that something that you did?
That's really important. So once all the stone selections were made, they were all catalogued by our stonemasons. We had every piece, and it was really important to lay them out. Make sure the grains had a relationship but didn't match. We don't want 2 panels of stone to blend into each other perfectly, because then it looks like one big panel. But there should be a relationship. So that meant things like not cutting a piece of stone on a prominent feature. We want to keep that. And really importantly, you can see here the direction of the grain. It's really important that what carries through the bench top comes up the wall. That quietens the design, and that's how we achieve the consistency across the building and the quiet buildings that we're known for.
So Tim, I guess in and amongst this absolutely incredible project, was there particularly a favourite part that you enjoyed working on?
So, very difficult on a project this size that I've been working on for 7 years to pick one part. I think what I can say generally as an office, we really like a challenge. We don't do the easy things. We workshop things and we get to the best results. So the journey of that with the clients, with the amazing team that we have, Belvard are one of the best builders in Australia. They have fantastic people. All of the trades that we've used, the stonemasons, the joiners, working with all of those really craftsmen, people who are at the top of their game to achieve the things that we imagine as architects that you can't always quite realise on site. We've been able to do that here on this project, and it's an amazing result. Yeah,
fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us on another episode of CDK Stone's Designer Collaboration Series. Tim, you must be incredibly proud, you and the team at B.E Architecture, of what you've created for your clients, and I can only imagine they're very excited to move in. So thank you very much for joining us today.